My name is Piper Carter. I live in Detroit, Michigan. I'm actually a member of several organizations, I should say, nationally, internationally, regionally, and locally. Well, on the state level and the city level. Mainly I work in the areas of where culture and environmental justice meet. I am a cultural organizer. I'm an artist. I use arts and culture to bring awareness to justice issues, mainly in environmental justice, but also where that intersects with understanding the dynamics of race and gender. And I would also say economic status, privilege, that kind of thing. And much of my work centers on, I'd say, working with artists or building with artists. I also have created my own organization called We Found Hip Hop that centers women in hip hop, and it's more of an artist development, sort of artist management, booking agency, if you will. But we also center, because we center women, we also center health. But we work to make sure that women have control over understanding their role in their own career as artists. And that includes sometimes some professional, well, we center women's voices so that they can be in control of their careers. And so what that looks like is also bringing in some women who have different levels of experience in the arts or in music business to be able to provide guidance and mentorship for the artists that we represent. So with that, some things that I've done over the years have been to create spaces where women can be featured as artists. And that includes an annual Women in Hip Hop showcase. It includes a Women in Hip Hop conference. It includes a monthly professional development series. It includes it also includes on SoundCloud we produce a Women in Hip Hop mixtape that is all women's voices, women MCs and vocalists. We also have a collective that comes together. We produce a retreat for women in hip hop in historic Idlewild, which is historically black-owned land in Michigan, which is a natural landscape, so women can get out in nature and get in the water and just be, and we do yoga and commune with one another and share and do workshops. And we do that because many black women and women of color have not historically had access to nature in that kind of way. The land that we go to is owned by a member, one of the women in the community, and her and her partner own the land, and their family has owned land there for generations. And so it's really a safe space for us to go and reconnect with nature and build, because it's really important for entrepreneurs, for people in general, but especially entrepreneurs or activists or anyone doing this work, to be able to rejuvenate yourselves and reconnect with nature, you know, and also to be able to connect with other women who have experience in the field that, you know, women want to go into, that these artists, you know, want to pursue. You know, to connect with women who have, you know, some level of longevity in this game, if you will, to be able to just have some one-on-one time and connect with people on a more intimate level, as opposed to just, you know, doing business, right? Or just sending an email and then having a meeting in an office, right? There's a level of trust that's built to be able to go in nature and do yoga and share a meal that's been prepared by a vegan chef, you know, who's also a Black woman. So that's really, you know, that's really important. I've done some different relief events. We did some relief events, unfortunately, during the hurricanes that happened in Houston, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean. We did concerts. Well, also, you know, the Flint water crisis as well, to support folks there. And so what we did was we organized relief efforts in conjunction with the folks that are most impacted, right? Because we definitely don't want to appear that we're looking to be saviors of any kind, or that we want to swoop in. We definitely want to respect, or we always respect, the folks that are living there, that are most impacted, and asking them, you know, what is needed, and also learning about the situations that are happening on the ground in real time as they're happening, so that we have current information. And so when we are providing some support, that it's definitely, we know for sure it's going to the people that are there, that are doing this work, and that we're giving them what they're asking for. So we've been able to raise funds up to like $15,000 we raised from our community in Detroit, that we and you know, we were able to purchase. We researched the filters that filter out lead. There's like a military grade, I know, military, yeah, I'm very anti-military, but we researched the military grade filter for water that filters out all of the chemicals and impurities, especially lead and some other, you know, many other, like 99% of the other chemicals and impurities that are in water. And we purchased 350 filters that we were able to distribute, because at the time in Flint, the government had a program where they were giving filters, but they were requiring that folks show ID. And as you know, many of our folks do not have an ID, or maybe they don't have access to even obtain an ID for various reasons, right? I mean, it could be, right, anything from, you know, being undocumented to being, you know, someone who was formerly incarcerated that's been released, or it could be just that people can't afford an ID, right? There could be any number of reasons. And so we did not want not having an ID, right, to prohibit people from being able to have access to water, right? Because we all know that water is life. We all know that water is life. We all know that water is, I'd say, our most precious resource, right? We all know that water, you know, we all know that we are all made up of 70% water. The earth is made up of 70% water. We know that water is being used to wage war globally, right? In Detroit, we've experienced atrocities that are very similar to countries around, what other countries have experienced around the world. And so what we do is we connect with our allies and our friends and our comrades that are in other cities to learn, right, about how they were doing things. Our folks in Brazil have taught us a lot. Our folks in Puerto Rico have taught us a lot, right? Ecuador, right? I mean, I could go on and on. And so from this viewing us as a global majority, and from viewing the challenges that we face and the issues that we face and the struggles that we go through as being connected, this is how we're able to be stronger. This is how we're able to fight, what is these systems that oppress us. So yeah, I mean, for me, I root myself, my thinking, my orientation is rooted in a global identity. And yes, it's because I have traveled and I do have comrades in these other places, but also too because I view myself as a citizen of the earth and a protector of Mother Earth and of our water. And I view myself as a steward of our planet. And so with that, no matter where I am in this world, I know that I'm connected to something that's greater than me, to people who, are going through what I'm going through, and who have visioned ideas, who have visioned ideas and solutions, right? In impossible situations, and what we would consider impossible situations. And I feel that we've gone through a lot of that as well in Detroit. And so I look to a lot of the folks, especially folks in Detroit that have been doing this work a long time. I look to my elders to show me, things that I didn't know, or things that I hadn't seen or couldn't see. And I think also too, with the work that I do, my main focus is to use arts and culture, because that's, I would say, our language, the language of our people, right? Our people speak by the drum, by music, by poetry, by dance, by art, by, symbols, and these rhythms speak to us. We understand what they mean, right? They mean things, like we understand. And so I think that, when we see examples in, I'd say, like mainstream culture, right? We've seen a trend play out because it was in a music video, right? Or it was on Instagram or somewhere else on social media. We've seen, and then we see that it explodes, or like more people do it, right? That's because even though we're in this age of technology, right, those principles, right, like they still apply. Like we're still human beings, and we still respond to color, we still respond to rhythm, right? We still respond to stories. And so I think that, there's a space for folks who, are going to read policy and go through pages and pages of legal documents, and we need everyone at the table. So that's the superpower of the folks who can do that. And there are people who can take those words that are in the policy or the demands and turn it into poetry, turn it into beauty, turn it into a song, a dance, a painting. And I think that what's important about that is that is what helps to shift culture. That is what helps to shift mindsets. That's what helps to build and gain the minds and hearts of the people. And part of our job, part of our struggle is to win the hearts and minds of the people. And so narrative work is really important. People seeing themselves as a part of the narrative, seeing themselves as a part of being the solution. And that goes all the way around, right? So folks who are not most impacted, seeing themselves as part of the solution, and also folks who are most impacted seeing themselves as part of the solution, because we always want to move from a place of power, and supporting people in their power, right? So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the work that I do and have done is around this narrative work, and especially I do media, I do photography, I do video, and so a lot of my work is also narrative work, right? Like, how do we create and build narratives that support who we are